Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters and dear friends. Welcome to this brand new show on Eman Channel, Talk to Me. I'm your host, Ali Dawah. This show is going to be a bit different. We're going to have some controversial topics that we're going to discuss. And the audience are going to have their say. And we've got a panel of guests. I'm going to start on my left. Brother, what's your name?
My name's Hamza.
Hamza. And why are you sitting like that? What's your job here today?
Okay, so I'm going to be playing devil's advocate. I'm going to have controversial opinions.
Yes.
They're not my own opinions, but I'm just supposed to address all of the sort of standard orthodox opinions.
For example, if there's if we're talking about a certain topic, he's going to come from another aspect. So it's fair and more exciting, inshallah. And also on his left, we've got Brother Yusuf. Brother Yusuf. I was going to say Yunus. Brother Yusuf, may Allah bless him, inshallah. And on my right, we have Brother Mohammed Hijab. How you doing, Aki?
Not bad.
You seem a bit tired today.
No, I'm alright.
Oh, mashallah, that's good. And we've got Brother Musa on his right. Musa, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, all good,
Okay.
all good.
So what's today's topic? Do you know, Musa?
Yeah, I do
No,
actually.
you don't actually.
Okay,
It's interracial marriages.
I did know that.
Yeah, we have this little banter with the brothers. So today's topic is interracial marriages, yeah? A lot of us are maybe in an interracial marriage ourselves. A lot of us maybe during the marriage process got denied, you know? Like for example, because, you know, you're from this caste, you're not from my tribe, you're this color, you're green, blue, yellow, whatever it may be, and you have been rejected, yeah? So today is your time, and maybe there's a lot of brothers here or sisters have gone through that themselves. The first question that needs to be asked, I think the first question that needs to be asked is, where does this mentality come from? Like, because we are Muslims.
Yeah.
In Islam, we don't have race. The Prophet ﷺ didn't tell us when you're going to get married, look at what color the individual is or what tribe they're from. So where do you think this problem stems from?
What we've done is basically, essentially, we've come from back home. Our parents have come from back home. Yeah. Our parents all came here and they lived here. So back home, you don't see people getting married to different people from different races. Back home, obviously, everyone's going to marry someone from their country. Yeah. So when the parents come here and their children, when we go to school, we have people in our class that are from all different countries, you know, from all walks of life, all faiths, and we choose someone that we want to marry from a different country, even if that person be a Muslim, of course. What ends up happening is it's something that's strange to our parents a lot of the time. They're like, okay, you're marrying someone outside. So culturally, I feel like it's not accepted in a lot of countries.
Because the question that needs to be asked here is, where is this coming from, you know? Is there anyone in the audience who knows somebody or have personally gone through this issue of, you know, wanting to marry somebody from a different caste or race, but has been rejected? Does anybody know anyone specifically? We'll just go for this brother, inshallah. Yes, Aki.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. There's a friend of mine who actually went through this. He did go through a lot of trouble, basically because of different cultures, and exactly I do agree with the brother said that it's the culture of the parents, where they come from a cultural background, but also at the same time I don't blame them. But for youngsters, I think the main problem is, I think the root problem is lack of education about Islam and what Islam says. So our parents, mashallah, may Allah bless them, they're very grounded in their cultures because this is how they grew up.
You said they have a right. Are you talking about the parents here?
Yeah. Okay,
so I would like to ask a question, because when you mean they have a right, is that based on Islam or culture? Because like you said, you know, this is what they took from their culture. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, are you going to follow your forefathers even though you know that they were in the wrong? So somebody might come and ask a question and say, yes, Aki, you're saying they have a right, but based on what? Is this Islam or what are we talking about here?
When I do say parents have a right, it's not right based on Islam, but from where they are coming from. So I think in the society nowadays, the main problem comes where, you know, we're talking about the issue. But if we can be balanced in both, see where they're coming from and where we're coming from, that's where the clear line shows that we're coming from what Islam says, while they're coming from a culture background.
What's required from us is that we need to show some form of steady education towards our parents, because eventually we have to break down these false ideas. So this requires, you know, soft dawah with the parents, because they are our parents, they are above our heads. Islamically, they are above our heads. And they want what's best for us.
Okay, you mentioned, Aki, obviously our parents are above our heads, yeah? But what about Allah's laws? Because this is something really important, because this is where we have to choose here. Okay, this doesn't mean we disobey our parents, but there's a fine line, yeah? yes, our parents, we obey them, but if they tell us to do something which is against Allah's commandments and laws, which I personally, from my perspective, I could come and say that's outright racism. You know, is there any sisters in the audience, like, where do you think parents are coming from? Like, if we can go to this sister.
I don't think it's the fact that we're in Britain, because as a Somali, this existed even when my parents were in Somalia. So even between Somalis, they don't want someone who's a different, I think, tribe. Yeah, so it's much deeper than being a Londoner. It's something that has existed for a long time. So I think, that's just more my point.
Okay, we just want to go to this sister.
Sometimes it doesn't have to do with culture. It's about the parents. They're quite afraid that the children are here in this country and that they, when they're in this interracial marriage, that they would disappear, that they will not go back to their roots.
Okay, when you mean disappear, sister, in what way? Like, what are they going to lose?
They lose their culture, their language, their heritage, their origin, where they're coming from. They won't know about their grandparents, and many parents are afraid that this interracial marriage won't last.
Okay,
and that could be a problem for the parents.
I agree with certain points. Is that you said they will lose their culture, but I understand where you're coming from. But sister, the question that really needs to be asked here is your culture, and I don't mean you, I'm just saying like a general in person, is our culture going to save us on the day of judgment? If not, now for example, as a parent who's worried, who might think, you know what, well, I would want somebody to speak the same language as my child, etc. You know, I understand that, you know, but when it comes to the point of where they are coming and saying, you know what, no, like you can't. They make it haram, something that's halal, that's haram. So what would you say to that? Because I understand the culture aspect of it, sister. Yeah, I'm going to go to Brother Farouk, but before I go to him, from your point of view, are you trying to say that, look, they have a right to, like for example, they have a right to say, you know what, daughter, son, I prefer you to marry somebody that's Pakistani? Or are you saying no, like that's it? Like, is it a matter of right, like it's a choice, or they should like personally, let me ask you a question. Would you allow your child, if they wanted to marry somebody from outside your caste, would you allow that?
No.
Okay, just so the people understand, what is the main fundamental reason? Why wouldn't you allow that?
I think it's the upbringing of mine when I was younger, that I need stability in my life, and I think that being in interracial marriage sometimes makes people don't have any kind of origin, nothing to go.
Like, in common, they don't have like.
No, I mean like the children when they're older, they don't know which country they're really from, and they're just. I mean, Islam is a good thing. It's a religion, and we go back to that. But you have to also have some kind of thing, some kind of roots, some kind of stability, so that you know who you are.
I understand. Brother Farouk, let me ask you a question. Does interracial marriages cause instability? Because this is where maybe the sister's coming from. What's your take on this?
I'm in a interracial marriage, you want to call it, yeah? My wife, she's from Kashmir, alhamdulillah, and I'm a white British man. Now, I forsake my culture for the sake of Islam. My culture is a culture of drinking. My culture is a culture of going out and partying. My culture is a culture of not being married. This is what it's become.
Okay.
Yeah. In my culture, I'm from Scotland originally. It's very heavy drinking and very heavy partying. That's the culture I'm from. I gave up my culture.
Yeah.
Now, if we take what the sister said and make it a staple in what we decide in our lives, that culture is very important, that my children understand my culture and where I come from, then this would have a negative impact on the family, for sure, without a doubt. Yeah. Culture was destroyed 1400 years ago in Mecca. What did they say when the Prophet ﷺ started to preach? They said he's come to change what our forefathers brought. He's destroying our society. What he's preaching is splitting father from sons, daughter from father, destroying family lives. This is what they said. Subhanallah. And I say, alhamdulillah, that it did. Because if we limit what we have in our family to what our culture brings, then we're not going to be able to taste the beauty of different other ways of living as a Muslim. Now, I'm not saying that you can't be British and Muslim. You can, but it's Muslim who is British. You're a Muslim first before you're British. You're a Muslim before you are Somali. You're a Muslim before you are Pakistani, etc., etc., etc.
Barakallahu fik, Aki. I'm just going to come to Brother Hamza.
I disagree with Brother Farouk's point. I don't think Islam came to sort of completely smash culture. Culture isn't a bad thing. What the Prophet came to smash was idolatry. But I think sometimes our parents know best. They know us better than anyone else. And so if they know that we're so used to sort of being raised up in a particular way, you know, we're used to having our roti and our curry, and they know that if we were to marry someone from another culture, you know, that woman from another culture wouldn't be able to provide for you in the same way as your mother would, who's from the same culture as you. Especially, you know, where I'm from, the divorce rates are really high, where, for example, Bengali sisters or some African brothers are marrying Bengali sisters. Yeah. And there's a mismatch there. You know, the African brother goes to his wife's house, and again, it's such a culture clash there. It's impossible to sort of integrate.
Okay, as a devil's advocate, this is where you're coming from, but the question that I would ask is, a curry's not going to save me in the hereafter, for example. You know, like few differences. Yeah. Let's just go to this sister, inshallah. Yes, sister. What's your take on the matter, as what you've heard?
I can understand the concerns of other parents that the children may not be able to adapt to the culture, but the issue is, it is a bit hypocritical, because oftentimes parents want to make sure that everything is good on paper, they have a good degree, they're from our tribe, but then they don't look at things like spirituality, the character. Are our children compatible? And then this then could lead to a bad marriage as much as, if not more, than people from different races. So I don't really agree with that point.
Very valid points. Like, when looking for a partner, why do we always concentrate about the degree, the work, his colour, his race? Why don't we talk about his taqwa, his salah, his zakah? Let's go to the sister, inshallah. Yes, sister.
I think it's not necessarily bad to have reservations as opposed to being outright against it, but different cultures do practice Islam in different ways. So what we have is some families and some cultures will not approve of hijab, will not approve of the son growing the beard. And, you know, marrying into a family where you're going to be sort of scrutinized for practicing Islam in a certain way could be an issue.